Mi nombre es Jamie Lee Curtis.
Hi, I'm Mick Garris, and we have a special guest with us here today, Jamie Lee Curtis. She was the star of 2 John Carpenter films, Halloween and The Fog, and has since done Terror Train, and we're here to talk primarily about her new film, Prom Night. Jamie, hello.
Hello.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little about the fact that all of your films so far have been thrillers or horror films.
We can say horror films, it's okay.
All right. What draws you to them?
Producers.
Producers.
Personally, I have no draw to horror films per se. I'm a chicken. I get very scared of them. I get terrified of them, as a matter of fact.
You're the woman in jeopardy in all of the films so far, and yet, although you're victimized, you're not the victim.
I do like playing strong women. It's very hard to find roles now where a woman has some sort of a vulnerability aspect to her and ends up being able to somehow come out of it with strength and intelligence and things like that. It's very hard to find roles like that. And in a horror film or suspense film, you end up having that, you run the gamut. You go from happy to sad to mystery, and then you go through a lot of emotion. So it's great for an actress, I think.
What do you think makes them so popular right now?
That's really interesting. Probably, I have a theory that the world is very safe right now. Everybody the 70s were called the me decade, where everybody did only as much as to do the job, but never really went for it, never really put themselves on the line. And this is a way that all these people can now put themselves on the line without really having to participate. They can kind of do it vicariously through the film. So they go in there for 2 hours, get scared, get frightened, go through all of those emotions that are really, really right on the line, and then they can walk out and still be safe.
Right now it seems that the popular horror films are becoming increasingly violent and more gory. What do you think about that?
I think that horror films have done better when they do not have spectacular violence, that it's all mostly assumed. The more assumption there is into violence, I think it's better. The less you see in that way, for instance, in Halloween, you really do see very little violence per se, in the sense of actually graphic violence. You see a lot of assuming violence, and you assume what happened afterwards, but you don't actually see it.
Prom Night was filmed in Canada. Tell me a little bit about the film and your role in it.
Peter Simpson, who produced it, when I met with him, he said, "How'd you like to spend 6 weeks in Canada," right? Like that was a bad thing. I was so thrilled. I couldn't believe it. Canada, 6 weeks? Oh, it's wonderful to be able to go away from your home because you really can kind of isolate yourself to the work. If you're here at home, a lot of people feel they much prefer working in a studio in their hometown, or because for some reason they feel much more comfortable. I feel better when I'm away from my home, even a hotel. That way you don't have the problems you do at home. You don't have to go back to the dog who's sick or throwing up or something. You know what I mean? You can you're done with your work, you go to the hotel, you have some dinner, and you go to bed, and you can concentrate on your work. Prom Night is a film where my sister was killed very early on by a prank. And it is now the majority of the film takes place 6 years later. I think it's 6. And somebody comes back to avenge her death, avenge her death, and goes after the group of people that were responsible for it innocently, in a way. I mean, they were not actually the people who killed her, but they caused her to be killed. And someone comes back, and you don't know who it is. And it's, I play Kim Hammond. I was voted Queen of the Prom at the high school. And my group of friends are the group of people who were involved in it. And so, slowly but surely, Prom Night comes around, and some of my friends meet a formidable foe.
Yeah, it seems to have elements from both Halloween and Carrie.
Carrie in the sense of the location. I think any of these films, I think, succeed on one thing, is that they have a sort of I'm trying to find a word I'm reaching, parameter of controlled parameters, so that they, like, either it's on a prom night where you have a controlled place, or Halloween night where you have a controlled situation. It's like a situation comedy in the sense that you have a situation, and so all of it's going to work in that. And it works in the fact that you're at a prom, or you're on Halloween night, or you're on a train, or The Fog was a little different, but all of those films, Halloween, Prom Night, and Terror Train, all are sort of situated in one area, so therefore the tension builds a lot. If you're spread out a lot, the tension isn't built as well.
Now, Prom Night was different for you in one particular way. You got to do some dancing.
Oh,
now,
yes.
You are a dancer.
Well, I've danced a long time. I never took ballet for a long period of time because I like to dance much freer. And I thought it was great to not only be able to play someone who's a very attractive woman, you know, prom, someone would have to be very attractive to be prom queen, but to be able to dance was just a double, you know, it was doubly fun. And be able to show other talents. You know, it's a lot nicer to find a project where you can not only laugh a little, be funny, but dance, be serious. You go through that gamut, as I was saying before. So it's nice.
Your father's Tony Curtis, your mother's Janet Leigh. With that theatrical background, was it a natural progression for you to go into acting?
I was never a child actor in the sense of the preparation and all that. I was a kid. I was the greatest. I was the biggest tomboy you ever met. I was just amazing. I used to ride bikes into pools and things. I was a cheerleader. I was a wonderful cheerleader. Yes, I was.
I bet you were.
I was terrific. I wanted to be a lawyer at one point and study criminal law. I like kids a lot. I love little kids. So I want to work with kids. But this seemed to, I'm a big ham, a real big ham. So I can understand why I ended up doing it.
Your first two features were for John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, Halloween and The Fog. Tell me how that all came about.
You know, I was so thrilled to get it. I must tell you, when you get your first movie and you're looking at the script, and you just keep turning the pages and you see their name on it, Laurie. I mean, it was so exciting to me. I kept turning the pages going, there's more and there's more here. Oh my God. It was a tough movie to make because we shot it in 20 days. So we shot it completely out of sequence. Just completely out of sequence. Scenes at the beginning, at the end, in the middle, and the end. And so in the sense of trying to sustain emotion, and there was a definite build, a definite breaking point for her. So after the breaking point, I could do one scene where I'm being chased at the end and running around, and then we'll do a scene at the beginning of the movie. So you get the blood off, you get the mascara from underneath your eyes, you know, you get your hair done again, and then you go being like it never happened. 10 minutes ago you were running scared, and now 15 minutes later, nothing's happened, and you're just looking out the window and you see something that seems possibly weird. And so the continuity was so strange that it takes a good director, I think, to really kind of help you out through there.
How'd you get the part?
I auditioned. Straight out audition. Actually, from the photograph that I guess was submitted, they didn't think I looked like one of the three women. And I was real lucky. I had a very persistent manager who kind of, come on, see this girl, she's real great. And ended up a couple readings, 3 or 4 readings.
And then you did John and Deborah's next film, The Fog, and worked with your mother. Yeah. Talk about working with your mother a little bit.
Well, I actually don't work with her in the film, in the sense of actually having scenes with her. We don't do. We were there a lot together,
right.
But we really never had a lot of stuff to do, which I wanted. I'm so pleased that they cast us separately. I mean, that to me was an honor, to be cast separately from her, but be in the same piece.
Rather than a mother and daughter.
Yeah, which would be very easy to do. It would be a packaged thing. I mean, it'd be very easy to do, and I don't mind doing that if the piece is right. But just to do it a lot sort of negates any work I've done on my own.
Okay, we've talked about your past quite a bit, and now let's talk about your future. You just completed filming in Australia on a picture called Road Games with Stacy Keach, right? Road
Games is it's best described as a rear window on the highway. Stacy plays a truck driver across Australia, American truck driver, and I'm a consulate's daughter who decides to run away, and we meet up later in the film and try to solve what we think is a murder. It's a murder mystery in the sense of we know murders have happened. We don't know who, but we think we do, and we're trying to follow them and track him down and nab him.
What about the future of Jamie Lee Curtis? What are the goals? What are the things you want to do? I
would like to keep working, of course, in other types of films. I'd like to laugh a little. Wouldn't it be fun to just laugh out loud on film? I'm looking right now. I'd love to do a love story. The one thing I'd like to do is be more subtle now. Bring it all back down. With horror films, it's much grandiose. You know, it's like you have to be very broad and big. Whereas everything else can be very quiet and looking and things like that, which is lovely. I'd love to do it.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been talking with Jamie Lee Curtis, and thank you for being with us, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you.